So, now in this segment, we would be looking at the human induced disasters that have wreaked havoc worldwide and specifically for the various cities. So, we would be discussing about the nuclear accidents, the oil spills, industrial accidents, fire, terrorist attacks. This graph shows the trend of increasing number of disasters in the last 4 decades. We can see that the man-made disasters are higher than the natural catastrophes. How are the people affected due to man-made disasters? There are incidences of death, and one can see that major fires and explosions, aviation disasters, maritime disasters, rail disasters, mining accidents, they have been part of all man-made disasters worldwide, not specifically in any city. And you can see here the number of incidents and the death toll and the loss in terms of millions of US dollars. For you can see from this table the impacts on the economy due to this man-made disasters. The impact on economy due to oil spills pertains to investments which are required to clean the oceans and the water bodies, to address the issue of unemployment of people, to address the issues of the various livelihood options, that is fisheries industry, tourism industry, travel industry, and moreover large quantities of oil is lost. Fire, the nuclear accidents have impacted the manufacturing industry, the tourism industry, agriculture. All economic sectors have received a setback and got affected due to nuclear accidents. Industrial disasters have impacted or have caused damage or destruction of the industry itself, and the production also gets affected. Fire incidences have impacted the economy in terms of damages caused due to burning of either forest or market areas or residential areas, etc. Terrorist attacks have impacted the economy in terms of destruction of buildings, damage to the infrastructure, other facilities, and the cost of recovery, including the damage to there was also a cost of recovery. Nuclear accidents have impacted the environment in terms of contamination of water bodies, release of radioactive materials in the oceans, contamination of soil, deformity of livestock, penetration of radioactive material in the food chain. Oil spills on water or on land affects the habitat, affects the photosynthesis process, affects various species. Oil spills also aggravate or trigger of fire and resultant carbon emissions. Industrial disasters affect the groundwater, contaminate soil, the chemicals penetrate into the food chain, there's accumulation of toxic waste which affects the habitat or the ecosystem. Fire incidences affect the environment in terms of carbon emissions, contamination of resources, emissions of toxic gases, impact on flora and fauna, and the soot which is a product of fire, soot which is generated due to fire, when it settles on trees or on plants, it affects the photosynthesis process. You can see from this timeline the major oil spills and where they have occurred and what were the quantum of oil that was lost. You can see from this map and the timeline that the oil spills in the Gulf was the most severe of all the oil spills. You can see from this figure the timeline of various nuclear disasters and the location of various nuclear disasters, and one can see that the most severe of them was Chernobyl, considering the number of deaths.